Hi everyone. Today we're going to look at Unit 1, Day 13 for ninth grade. We're going to look at the ESP+C tool. We're going to focus on the lesson in Unit 1, Day 13, which surrounds the rise of Rome. Now, ESP+C, and why am I even talking about tools? In case you don't know, social studies and the study of history is not just about facts and dates and knowing what happened in the past, but it's about analysis and figuring out how we can act like historians, right? Now, at the very base of this is looking at what were the different factors, different causes that made different things happen. You may have looked at a chart that looked like this, which broke down different categories to organize important historical changes, right? You may have looked at it during the Paleolithic and then done it for the Neolithic, maybe even the Classical period, which we're crossing into now, right? And again, the purpose of this chart is to organize important historical changes, economic, social, and political, right? And why you're doing that? To create a narrative of past event, okay? You're looking for factual information in each category, ESP+C, and you're going to record your notes in the corresponding box. You may have done that already. In fact, your work may have looked something like this. Your teacher may have shared this with you. But before I go further, I want to actually just review what we're talking about. We're going to use the ESP+C chart, right? We're going to take a deep dive in here. How? What am I talking about? Economic. Yeah, it's a word you may have used before, but let's just clear that up. Whenever you're going to write about economic and ESP+C, you're speaking about, yeah, it's not just money, it's trade. How did people interact with their money? Okay, what type of industry? How did people make money? How did people create their wealth, accumulate or build up their money? That's economic. Okay, now we have social. Social involves people, where people are in society and how society is organized. Um, i.e., by the way, that means it s, that's Latin, very appropriate if we're going to head for the rise of Rome. That is, what is that talking about? That is talking about rank, that is talking about status. You may have come across the term social hierarchy. Your teacher may have introduced that in an earlier unit. Again, it's the status, the rank, and who is in charge of who and who has to listen and work with who. Political, anything involving government, meaning who's in charge, who's on top, who's running the place. It's government and how the public deals with the government and how things are run. And finally, we have culture. I know you may have seen economic, social, political, but cultural is probably a new step. Cultural is what everyone does. Cultural is a new step. It's people's ideas, their custom. How do people behave? How do they get along with each other? What do people do with each other? How do people act with each other? So when you do all of that, you're going to come up with ESP plus C, economic, social, political, right? Plus cultural. So now, what are we going to do with this ESP plus C? We're going to start it simple. Your teacher may have shown you different things to introduce Rome. Let's try ESP plus C with a little clip. You can take a step back and think about how Rome transformed from a city-state and republic into a vast or a really big empire. Now, how are you going to do that? You're going to watch this video, and you're going to listen, and you're going to take notes on the side over here, looking for economic, social, political, and cultural reasons for the growth of the Roman Empire. Why did the Roman Empire get larger? Remember, we can use ESP plus C for almost anything. Now, notice they mention aqueducts. Aqueducts, your teacher showed you pictures of. What are aqueducts? That cool way, unbelievable engineering feat where Rome brought water everywhere they went. Now, my question to you, when you watch this clip, is what other engineering advancements supported the growth of the Roman Empire? So you're going to watch, you're going to pause the video, okay, go to the link your teacher gives you, and you're going to watch the economic, social, political, and cultural developments that made the Roman Empire grow. Remember, it's all linked to engineering, right? Okay, so you watched it. What did you come up with? Well, here's what I came up with. And I took notes and I wrote down all sorts of facts, but I had to be careful that when I wrote down all my facts, I was writing about what led to the growth of the Roman Empire. I couldn't just write down everything I watched. It says that we should watch for reasons for growth. So I'm not just going to speak about engineering, but I'm looking for growth, not just everything about the Roman Empire, which this clip spoke about. So economic, it said how the Romans built roads throughout any area they conquered as they started to conquer. And these routes, however, that needs a comma, however, they were used as trade routes and that caused increased trade. So there was a whole bunch of movement within the Roman Empire. Social, okay, they talked about how public health improved with the construction of aqueducts, which your teacher probably started this conversation with, and bathhouses to help public health. With all that water, things were able to grow. People were able to live healthy lives, and things were able to grow, and people were safer. Politically, it goes through the whole history, and that does lead to the growth of the Roman Empire because first they had kings, then they had a republic. I wrote about that, where the republic, where they had elected councils, republics where people have a voice in government, until Julius Caesar takes over and he basically turns into emperor, which is dictator. Now, other emperors led Rome to conquer Italy and most of the territory around the Mediterranean Sea. That made Rome into an empire. So even though it goes on for a little later, it's turned into an empire. So I'm answering the question. Okay. Finally, okay, we have cultural. Right now, there's a whole lot about culture. And I was so tempted to write about the spread of Christianity. Again, I'm speaking about the growth of the Roman Empire, not all culture in the Roman Empire. So it says they included cultures from lands they conquered within Roman culture, like Latin, they took from a conquered province. And again, they were influenced by Greek art and architecture. And as they grew and it helped them grow, they built all these beautiful things like this Colosseum that we're staring at. It kind of half unbuilt now. They're trying to rebuild it. But again, this is what helped it grow. We're not speaking about everything we see. So when we do ESP+C, we're looking to answer a specific question. We're not just looking at the facts. We're looking for the rise of Rome. In our next clip, we're going to take this to the next step, and we're going to look at how we can do this with some text. Don't worry, you got this. See you next video.